everyone. Welcome to CareLab. What if the simple act of holding a cup of coffee felt like climbing a mountain? For millions living with Parkinson's or essential tremor, everyday tasks can become battles with their own hands and bodies. And in this episode, we're exploring how innovative, non-invasive tools are changing that reality and helping people regain not just control, but confidence. If you've ever wondered how to bring a little bit more independence and ease to someone you love, you won't want to miss this conversation.
And we're so glad to be able to have this conversation with Emil Namy, who's the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Steadiwear, which is a company that's dedicated to those who are living with Parkinson's disease or essential tremor. Inspired by the struggles of his own family members with tremors, Emil made it his mission to create accessible, non-invasive solutions. And with over 10 years of experience in marketing operations and strategy and executive MBA from Cornell and Queens, he's helped Steadiwear raise a bunch of money, generate a bunch of revenue, and bring this novel stabilization technology to the market. Beyond his work, Emil mentors accessibility-focused startups, which is awesome, believing deeply in the power of community, knowledge sharing, and compassion-driven innovation. And in his free time, he enjoys tennis, football, and high-intensity I should have said HIIT workouts, but because I thought I remembered what HIIT meant, but I don't. In his free time, he enjoys tennis, football, and HIIT workouts. Emil, we are so glad to have you. Thanks for being on the podcast today.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the awesome introduction. I'm really happy to share more about what we've been working on in the Steadiwear here for the past year, and we'll tell you a little bit more about our background too, why we started the company, and dive into how caregivers can access our solution.
Yeah, so that's a great place to start, actually. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to start Steadiwear, and what your personal background is that kind of led to you wanting to focus on this issue?
That's a great question, Amelia. So my CEO, Mark, and I, we started this company in 2015. We met a couple of years before that. We were hanging out, and around the same times, both of our grandmothers got diagnosed with essential tremor. So we were exploring what was available out there, trying to better understand the problem. And we were both fresh graduates. Mark is a structural engineer and had recently graduated from the University of Toronto. I had just finished up my bachelor's degree at York University here in Toronto. So we were exploring the options, and we realized that there was a significant gap in the market. We realized that, it was either medication, which was bulleted with side effects, anticonvulsants that were never designed for tremors in the first place, or you were looking at a deep brain stimulation at the time, a very intrusive and expensive, high-risk treatment that is effective, but can quickly lead to other problems. Going under the knife for the elderly population is always risky. So we decided to, explore some other ways to tackle this problem. And, Mark, being a structural engineer, he couldn't help but notice the relation from earthquake design to hand tremors, and realized that, he could build a tuned mass damping system and attach it to the hand, magnetize it, and accommodate a wide range of frequencies. That was around 2019 when we launched the first version of our product. All our devices are class 1. They are, battery free. They don't require any calibration. They don't require any limitations. There are pretty much no side effects. And all the magnets have been cleared to be used with pacemakers, MRI scans, and things like that. Our devices have magnets in them. So sometimes, if you have a pacemaker or a deep brain stimulator, we do refer our white paper to the technicians to clear that. We haven't had any negative experiences in the past in that realm. But the impacts have been very powerful. We've seen people be able to apply makeup for the first time. We've seen people be able to eat soup again, play the clarinet, use some light renovation equipment at home. Of course, we don't endorse driving or operating any heavy machinery with our device on, but there's definitely a lot of activities that are much easier to do with our device on their hand.
Okay, now you gave us a whole lot right there, and I'm going to back us all the way up, because you said the invention came from the correlation between earthquake something and shaky hands. And so I feel like
Absolutely.
You need to give us a little more information about, what does that mean? How does that
Absolutely.
work? What's happening when you are putting this device on?
Yeah, so when you build a building and you're in an earthquake, active earthquake zone, these high-rise buildings, to be precise, they have these counteracting forces on them. They're swinging pendulums, or in some cases, they're heavy boxes of water that are counteracting the force of the earthquake. And these mechanisms, they tend to work really, really well at one frequency, and they can save a lot of lives. What we did was we found a way to make this technology work for people with hand tremors. We miniaturized the technology. We made it as small as we could. We added a magnetic component to it, so it became a magnetic tuned mass damper. And we filed a patent to support that innovation, and then commercialized it because we realized that we could build something very impactful, very effective for both essential tremor and Parkinson's disease by deriving the same engineering principles and applying them to the hand in tremors.
So this is so cool because I think it's such a unique way of approaching problem solving. And I think is one example of how sometimes medicine can really benefit from an outside perspective where we're not just in our sort of like, like repeating tunnel of hearing the same thing over and over again, because so often in medicine, we're focused on changing the right? Like solving the physical problem that someone is having and trying to rehabilitate or use medications or something like that. So often there are really amazing solutions if we look at doing, adaptations to the environment or using equipment. So like one, I just want to point out what a fantastic way creatively approach problems. It doesn't require attempting to change something in a person that is incredibly complex and sometimes impossible, right? I want to know a little bit more about like product itself because you also named huge number of things that this can help people improve in with functioning. So for example, you talked about like putting on makeup, eating soup. I would say that people often complain about eating peas too. Some people eating like peas, corn, things like that. But and then you said things like playing the clarinet. So like how does this product like apply to such a wide range of possible activities?
Yeah, so imagine you have a counteracting force, swinging on your hand. If your hand pushes left to shake, we push right in live time. So that allows you to, of course, without any batteries in this case, and that allows you to tackle any form of activity of daily living quite effectively. Any frequency of tremors between 3.5 and 8.5 hertz, we can tackle it. We're working to widen that range with every newer version of our technology. But the current one that we have on the market, we've seen tremendous results, specifically in essential tremor. Our first validation study, we saw the device worked specifically for essential tremor really, really well. 10 out of 12 people that tried it saw significant improvements in eating, drinking, writing. Those are the ADLs we tested that day. But then when they took it home, they tried a whole wealth of other activities. And that's where we heard this feedback, getting dressed was easier, shaving a beard was easier, and so on.
Because essentially everything is harder when your hand is shaking, right? Like we have fine motor control for a reason in order to do the task that we need to do. And so any task that is impacted by having a shaky hand is now better impacted by using Steadiwear in order to like dampen those tremors. And the really important thing to like key in on what you also said, Amelia, is like when we come at it from a medical standpoint about changing inside, that means there's two different kinds of treatments depending on what kind of tremors you have, right? And there's essential tremors have to be treated a certain way or kind of aren't really treated, to be honest. And Parkinson's and its symptoms are treated a different way because the causes are different. And so
Absolutely.
this is like, whatever. You got tremors, we're counteracting the force of the tremors, and there's less to be determined by because it's complex, right? And so I'm interested in seeing if you have like a story of an individual that can like bring this to life for us about what they were maybe doing before, what was challenging before, how that changed, and like what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best testimonials that we've heard came from one of our beta testers, Betty. She's been using every iteration of our technology along the way.
That's
And her
cool.
tremors have gotten worse over time. She was the one who pointed out that, with this version, I have much more dexterity because some of the older versions covered the knuckles. So it limited the device. But with the current version that we have on the device, she has a lot more dexterity. She's able to play her games on the iPad, pressing the right place on the screen. She's able to apply makeup on for the first time, eyeliner. And she's been really, really helpful in garnering feedback every step of the way. One thing that we were really keen on including was user feedback. We've surveyed over 1,000 people with tremors on, how we can make a device even more effective for them and what kind of usability are they looking for. We did that in collaboration primarily with the International Essential Tremor Foundation through surveying their population. And then we expanded on that with users, customers who we now have, a couple of thousand of them.
Yeah, this is really amazing stuff. So I want to give people, maybe, and myself too, better idea of exactly like what it means to use Steadiwear, and like from that active user perspective. So this isn't like, it's not a device, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not a device with a bunch of different attachments to do a bunch of different tasks. Like, this is something you
No.
actually wear on your hand, and it corrects the tremors in the hand so that then your hand can be dexterous enough to go and do the thing that you wanted. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
How much does it weigh?
So, the earlier versions, they were pretty heavy. This specific version, it weighs around 10 ounces. It sits on your forehand. And there's a adjustable strap to allow for a one-size-fits-all solution. We do have one for the left hand, one for the right hand. Once you slide it on, it's pretty straightforward. It detects the frequency you're shaking at and starts working as much as it can within the range that I mentioned previously. There's also a button on the device. There's only one button on it. What happens, it allows the stabilizer to eject and achieve a 30-degree angle to allow for an extreme mode. So if your tremors are a little bit more of a moderate or slight, like early severe, that mode will really help it and capture the tremor and try to counteract it. And the reason why we wanted to make sure it was battery free, the reason why we wanted to make sure does not require any calibration is, we live in a world today where there are so many different ways to be distracted, so many different widgets that you're working with every day. And we wanted to make sure that the end user and the caregiver didn't have to worry about these issues like, is this device charged? Or is this device, able to work with me all day? We wanted to make sure that they had an easy way to tackle their tremors while they're on their go. It comes in a little pouch. You can carry it with you. We tried to make it as small as possible, and we keep focusing on miniaturization and efficacy for future versions. One thing that I should note also is we did a small study, not with this version, but the previous version of the device in an independent living environment. And we saw caregivers reported that they were, less involved in daily activities of eating, drinking with the patients because of the device. So this isn't only helping the patient, it's also helping their caregiver in quite a few different settings, whether they're living at home alone or they're living in a senior care facility. Everybody is satisfied with the outcomes, and we're working to measure them even more effectively with the newer versions of our technology.
Yeah, that's it makes total sense, right? Because if you are not shaking as much, you don't need as much help, you can do more for yourself. And so that means even professional caregivers who are pretty efficient at the work that they do and how fast that they go, if they're feeling like they're being used less, then as a person maybe caring for somebody at home, you also should be able to experience that. And then so in that, it makes it feel like the next thing that's going to be asked is, well, I got two questions. But I'm going to ask one at a time. You mentioned
Sure.
like wearing it all day. Is there a problem with wearing it all day? Can you wear it all day? Should you wear it all day? How do you feel when you take it off after wearing it all day?
I was wondering about
Yes.
that too. How do people feel when they take it off?
That's a great question. So, of course, the device does offer unlimited usage. And as you can imagine, different patients require it for different amounts of time and give us feedback on this different amount of time and how it felt after and how long they like to wear it. So, the average amount of time a patient is usually wearing the device is around 4 hours. And this really varies. If you're a larger individual, has larger hands, you're feeling the strain less on your hand. As a result, you might be able to wear it even longer. But then again, do you need to wear it for that long? It really depends on also your occupation, your requirements for the day that you're going through. So it's open-ended. We try to make it as light as possible. We know that it's lighter than a can of Coca-Cola. And the reason I give you that reference is because you're typically holding that can for a little bit of time to drink it. So that's really one of the big comparables that we wanted to make sure that we were able to tackle. And that's kind of the weight load, around 300 and something grams is kind of the weight load that's okay to be wearing for a longer period of time. Once we spoke with some OTs about that too, they kind of agreed there. And so we built a design around that too. That was a design goal for us, under 300 grams or under 10 ounces.
Okay, so my second question, as a person who sells adaptable equipment for a living, the first question I get is it covered by insurance? And I know the challenges with that. Please help the people understand, like, how does that work now? What do you think is going to happen in the future? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So as it stands, it's not available to be covered by insurance right now. We are working on, finding the right code and fitting into that code over the next year or so. That will be a top priority for us to make sure that we fit into some Medicare coverage code for the future. I have introduced, a payment plan on the website so you can get the device for, a much more affordable price, something like $65 or $75 a month over 1 year. It's not a subscription. Once the 1 year is complete, the payments stop, and that's available on both sides of the border, on Canada and the US. And of course, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. We have a 1 year warranty included. We do have a restocking fee because, tariffs are coming in hot, and so are all these different fulfillment fees. So we are trying to manage those too. But in general, the restocking fee is only 10% of the MSRP. And we're trying to keep the prices as low as we can.
Where can people go to see Steadiwear, like see what it looks like, see how it works? Because, if this were me and I were looking for either a family member with essential tremor, or if I had essential tremor, like I'd want to see this baby in it
That's
before
a
I
great
was
question.
ready to jump.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So there are a couple of ways that we can we can accommodate that. The first way, of course, is, buy it, try it, return it. The second way that we're working on is in the fall, we will be rolling out devices as demonstration kits to a certain number of clinics. It's going to be a pilot program, so we'll be doing them in a phased approach. I don't want to get the listeners too excited, but there are a couple of hundred clinics that are going to be receiving devices. They will primarily be movement disorder clinics spread out across the United States and Canada, where people can try before they buy. They can ask their OT, ask their movement disorder specialist, questions they need, receive a brochure, collect the discount code on the brochure, and head over to our website and buy it from there. But that won't be rolling out till the fall. So if you're looking for immediate relief or you want to try it and you're too excited, then of course, take advantage of our 30-day money-back guarantee. And the discount code I'll be disclosing at the end of this call for this particular podcast.
Awesome. So, okay, this is kind of a personal question, but I know you started this because both of y'all's grandmothers had essential tremor. And have they been able to benefit from your technology?
Yeah.
Did they get a chance to try it?
Brandy,
Yeah.
that was my question.
Yes. Yes, both of them have tried it. Both of them use it, and they see the benefits. Specifically, the most recent one. Some of the earlier versions were a little bit too bulky for their hands, but this most recent one, they really enjoy using it, and they see the benefit and rave about it to their friends. It's great when you have, aside from them being family, even in our network of early users, we have these champion patients who really they wear it with pride and tell everybody in their senior care facilities about it. And those are really the ambassadors that we wake up every day feeling a little bit better to hear the stories from.
That's really so Brandy, I'm glad you stole my question and asked. That's so neat to hear that you started it because of your grandmothers, and now your grandmothers have actually got benefits. Like, what a wonderful, full story. So if people want to know more about Steadiwear, if they want to connect with you, where can they go to it?
Absolutely, yeah. We're all the socials. Our handle is Steadiwear. It's steady with an I, and our website is steadiwear.com. It's steadiwear.com. My email is emil@steadiwear.com. You're more than welcome to reach out. If you are, a member of a clinic looking for a demonstration kit, definitely the good time to reach out is now because we are compiling all that information. We'll ask you to fill in a short survey and that we will put you in the queue, as you can imagine. couple of hundred clinics is not an easy feat, but we'll get to your request. And of course, the free demo kits are still available. If you're a patient, you're more than welcome to head over to our website, an end user or a family caregiver. You're more than welcome to head over to our website, place an order. You can use a discount code CareLab for $100 off, and that'll be available from today until the end of the year too. And yeah, you can reach us. There's a Shopify inbox chat. You can reach us live on there, or our phone number is 888-5050-992.
Well, we're so grateful for you coming to talk about this really excellent and pioneering technology for like a super challenging problem. And so I hope that as many people as possible are able to access it. And I know there's tons of barriers to like producing as many as you want to be able to produce to get them as many people as you want to get them to. And we hope to be good partners in the future about doing that. And we're thankful that that you created this and are bringing it to the world. So thank you for being on.
It's my pleasure. Closing note, if you are a veteran and you suffer of hand tremors, our device is fully covered by the VA.
Nice.
And it's available on our website. Just give us a shout and we'll refer you to a distributor in your area specifically for that channel. And yeah, we're excited to roll this device out next month and get some more feedback. Thanks again for the opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any further questions by email for any of the listeners.
Emil, thank you so much for being on this episode of CareLab. Dear listener, if you made it to the end of this episode, please make sure to take a second to like, subscribe, follow us. Please share a comment, leave a review. These are all the best ways that we can continue to grow CareLab and be able to bring more valuable content to caregivers like you. Until next time, we'll see you right back here on CareLab. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you.